Welcome to the Millennium Marriage Podcast,
where we discuss practical tools and insights into the joys and challenges of marriage. Welcome back.
Welcome back, people.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
We back like we never left.
Like we never left.
But we did.
We did. And we got some things accomplished, some things not accomplished.
Some things are brewing.
Yes. Well, hold on. Before we do that,
Okay.
just so everyone, we might have some new listeners.
Hey, new listeners.
We are Millennium Marriage.
I'm Latoya.
And I'm Jose. And this is season 2.
Season 2.
Episode
Uno.
There you go.
Wait, I got confused because "the" is French, and then I couldn't think of.
She's international.
International, yeah. They
Well,
not ready.
We're back. We're excited.
Yes, we
took
are.
a little break. Nothing too crazy.
Hopefully, you guys took a break too for the summer. You actually got to breathe a little bit.
Yes.
With the kids out of school, and maybe you got to the beach, or maybe you didn't, like us. Well, we did kind of.
We had a plan.
We had a whole plan.
We had a plan. This
What
whole
happened to
summer
our
was going to
plan?
be spent at the beach. And we went once because we actually went to Myrtle Beach.
But it rained every single day except one.
Except 2. It was
One
2
and a
days.
quarter. So our beach plans were
Oh, yeah.
demolished, y'all. Listen, so our goal at the beginning of, actually not even the beginning of the summer, back in like February, we were like, that's it. This summer, we are going to really create some experiences for our kids. I'm still not working full time. And have been able to be engaged with them more during the school year. So it was like this summer, we're taking field trips. It's gonna be Camp Camp Rodriguez with the kiddos, might pick up one or two of their friends, and while daddy's hard at work, we'll go do some stuff. And yet it didn't happen.
No.
So I decided to take on a part-time job, which has been a blessing. Let me just say that. It wasn't in the plans, but it has definitely been a blessing. However, it kind of it kind of threw off our summer plans a little bit.
Yeah. And we decided to do the small group.
We did.
We are both we both coach basketball. So we decided to do a small group at our church to just give some skill
development.
There you go. The word just slipped my mind. To the youth. But
Which
we
was great.
decided to do it on a Saturday.
On a Saturday morning in the summer, y'all.
That
Whose idea was that?
yours.
Oh.
Absolutely yours.
I just didn't think through. So I was just thinking, get up early on Saturday morning, get over with. I was thinking like, oh, evenings are a little hectic, but no. So we are so glad that we did it. It was a
Yes.
blessing. We were able to interact with some amazing kids, and some introduce basketball to them, and some just give them some skill building tips to kind of build on what they already had. However, next time we would not plan it on a Saturday morning in the middle of the summer.
Please.
So we couldn't really do a lot of like day trips on a Saturday morning. Like you have to really get on the road early to get to the beach without being stuck in traffic for 4 hours here in Delaware. So that ship has sailed, but we were determined. So what? A couple weeks ago, right before school started, we said, we're going somewhere. So we drove to Myrtle Beach. Our parents and my sister and our little children, who were spending a couple weeks in Georgia with them, met us there, and we had a good time. What, 5 days? 4?
Yes. 5. We left on the 5th day.
In Myrtle Beach. Unfortunately, the weather didn't want to cooperate with us.
It was nice. It was very nice.
Yeah, but it was good. So we did get away that one time at the very end of the summer.
Once.
And we're grateful. We are so grateful because we know everybody doesn't have the opportunity to get away at all. So we are grateful for that. Um, but with all that being said, it really, when we look back at it, it's like we really have to reevaluate how we are balancing everything that's going on in our
Hmm.
lives, which I think is something that we never completely get.
Yeah.
Like it's ever evolving. We're always going to have to work on that because in different seasons of our lives, we're doing different things. Our kids are doing different things. They're in a new
Hmm.
season now. So we want to talk about that a little bit today. Like, how do we balance everything in our families, in our careers, in our marriage, in our parenting? Where is there a such thing as
I
balance?
don't think there is.
I don't.
I think people can learn how to manage
Mm-hmm.
everything that they have to do,
Mm-hmm.
but I think the balancing act is a myth. I don't think anyone can do it. I think there's because we're always evolving, we're always
Mm-hmm.
doing more things, we're always doing something else,
Right.
and we're especially when you have children and you have
Mm-hmm.
all these different things going on.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's like a revolving door.
Right.
Just keeps going around and around and
That's
around.
true. Like it's not something that you can actually accomplish. Like
Yes.
it's not like one set goal. It's like, oh, we did it. We're there and we're
Hmm.
done.
Right.
It's yeah.
Now, unless you have a set and that is literally how you live your life. It's boom, 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 and that is it. There's nothing added. There's no new on, nothing new
Yeah.
going on. There's
But life
just
just doesn't work
it
that way.
doesn't, not at all.
And I'm grateful for that too,
Oh
because I
yeah,
will be bored out of my mind.
I don't.
I mean, I sometimes have a hard time with change. And I'm not good with being consistent. However, doing the same thing over and over every single day, like I would lose it.
Mm-hmm.
I need a little bit of,
Yeah,
I don't know, excitement, a little bit of I don't know, something different.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't
I think we all do.
I think so. So balance, we feel like is kind of it's a term that I think sometimes we put too much weight on, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not easy to get to that point. However, um, we do have to figure out a system
Mm-hmm.
that works for us, just like each of you in your marriage, in your relationship, in your parenting, in your family, has to figure out a system that works for you all. We are all individual people. We all have different ideas of, how to do things, what works for one will not work for the other. Um, so, that's one thing about, I guess, the balancing act is that it's not going to be the same for anyone. Every couple, every family has to determine what is most important for them. So setting priority
Mm-hmm.
on the things that are going on in your life, the people that are in your life, um, you know, careers, school, extracurricular activities, what priority is on that. But with that said, in marriage, this is millennium marriage. So let's talk about that a little bit. Um, Number one priority, we all know, is God for us. He's the
Mm-hmm.
center of our union. Um, and then our spouses, making sure that we are paying attention to each other and our needs from each other,
Yeah.
how we can support each other, that type of thing. Um, and I think for us, the next thing is our children, right? Just making sure that their needs are met and not just in a physical sense.
Yeah.
They have a roof over their heads, clothes on their backs.
Yeah.
We're paying all the bills, but
Emotionally, we need
yeah,
to,
are
and
we connecting?
they're all so different,
Mm-hmm.
so different.
Wow.
So finding out, just like our relationship with our spouse, we go through the five love languages, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have to learn how our spouse wants to be loved or how they feel loved, and the same thing needs to be done with our children because they are also different.
That is so true.
So we have to find out how each one views the love, how they're receiving it, how, you know,
Hmm.
and really feeding into those.
Yeah. Did you guys know this is a rhetorical question because obviously y'all can't answer me back, but that there is a love language quiz for kids too? Like we always talk about the one for couples, like do you know your spouse's love languages and what are you doing to meet that? But there is a love language quiz for kids, for parents. So Google that because, we think we know. And for the most part, we know our children.
Mhm.
But you may discover something new. Or, maybe it could provide you with some new tools on how to communicate their love language to them. Yeah, we could all use some help there because, child, these children.
Yeah. It's patience.
Mm, patience is a virtue, Lord. Listen, if nothing else, honey, pray as you're praying for your children, pray for yourselves to find the grace
Hmm.
to really communicate with your children. Because I think sometimes we're like extra, extra short. Just we have a lot of things going on as
Hmm.
parents, and they have a lot of things going on in their little bitty minds too,
Hmm.
and hearts and worlds and all that good stuff. And sometimes we have to show grace to our kids, just like we have to show grace to each other. Understanding like they're trying to figure it all out, and their little brains can only comprehend so much.
Hmm.
So we have to give them grace and allow them the space to be kids while also teaching them, responsibility and all that good stuff. But
Hmm.
that's another thing we have to balance, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
There goes that word again.
That's right.
So what else? What are some other things that I'll say that we have had a hard time you know, finding the space for or creating the space for in our lives?
I don't know about creating the space, like something new. I know we sometimes have an issue with the balancing of it. And again, that
We keep
word
using
just
that
keeps
word even
coming
though
up.
we say it doesn't
But
exist, but
trying to find a system that works for us. And it's like sometimes we'll find a system and then we'll go off of the system and then we
mm-hmm.
go back to its controlled chaos.
Mm. Oh, that
But
listen, y'all. Pause and I'm gonna give that back to you. A lot of people look at me and they think that I'm so organized and we always have a lot of things going on in our family and just constant nonstop. When I tell you it is unorganized chaos to me, but I guess organized chaos because in my head it's like pew, 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 pew.
mhm,
Like there's no organization at all. Somehow it all gets done. Somehow, it all comes together and we all function and we all get to our appointments and where we need to be every single day. But Lord, chaos is not the word. And I'm sure many of you out there can relate. But anyway, go ahead.
no, it's and I'm glad that you said that because I was one of the things I was going to say is it's we individually have a tendency to feel as though we're not doing enough, right? So you may feel like I need to do more. I need to do this for my spouse or for my family. I need to do this. But we have to always remember that we're a team. And it's not just one person always doing. You have to allow each other to do to alleviate the stress and all of that workload. So like we discussed in our situation where you're like, I was gonna cut the grass, and I'm like, no, like don't cut the grass. That's something that I can do.
Hmm.
Where there's things that you need to do on the computer or anything that you're working on that I can't help with.
Hmm.
I'm not that savvy to really help get that accomplished where that's your thing.
Hmm.
Where all right, well, don't focus on something that I can do.
Right.
I can wash the clothes, I can wash the dishes, I can cut the grass. Like I can do all of those things. Don't focus on those things. Focus on the things that I can't help with. So that's
Mhm.
where we have to make sure that that workload is spread out amongst ourselves
Right.
to our strengths. So don't have
Yeah.
me doing something that I'm not capable of doing.
Right.
Utilize our strengths and seeing that, and then that workload will start to
Yeah.
even out and the chaos will start to
Yeah.
alleviate.
That's so, so important. That's also so, so difficult for me.
Well, you are, and it's not just you. I think that a lot of women are.
Mhm.
They're control freaks. Not that men
I
aren't.
mean,
Not that
I
men
don't really
aren't.
like that term, but I mean, I agree I'm a control freak, but I don't
Yes.
like that term. So we need to find some new language for that.
You are a control queen. If the word freak doesn't who gave you some anxiety. Um the control queen is is the term we're going to use here.
Okay.
Um but yeah, that you have to relinquish that though,
Yes.
especially with certain things,
Yes.
And I understood you're like, I want to cut the grass. Like you're coming home from work. I don't want you to have to come home from work and cut the grass and do this and do that. But I'm okay with that. Like
Mhm.
that's
Mhm.
fine. L- Whatever's going to help you
Mhm.
clear the brain to
Right.
focus in on what you have to focus in on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you know, you talked about to our strengths, like how are we contributing not just to our marriage, in our strengths, but also in our parenting, where are our strengths in our relationship with each other, like how we support each other,
Mhm.
and if there are areas that we may need to work on, being able to openly communicate that to each other, so that we can both be working in tandem, in partnership, where I can be focused on, like you said, the things that I need to focus on, and you can come in and do those other things. So it's, whew, that's hard for me. That's hard for me, y'all. I'm sure many of you can relate to that as well. But every single day, we are praying on it, working on it. And let me tell you, along with that, another thing that's hard for me is knowing when to stop. Talk
Mhm.
about, man, I can, oh, I look, that knocked the wind out of me just saying that out loud. I don't know what that means. I don't know what it means sometimes to stop and rest. Whoo, saying that word gave me a little anxiety too. Don't- well, and that's not good. That is not healthy.
Mhm.
There has to be a healthy, here's that word again, balance between, the time that we commit to our careers, to, cleaning the house, to providing for our families, all of that, and taking care of ourselves, and pouring into ourselves. And what are we filling ourselves with
Mhm.
in those times of rest and pouring into? Are we, I don't know, are we taking in negative imagery, or, putting ourselves in environments that are draining us? Or in those times of rest, are we going to our secret place and having some time with God? Are we filling our spirit with the word? Are we surrounding ourselves with people who pour into us and not who drain us? Those things are really, really important. Also, another thing that I feel like um never ends. Like we're constantly, working on those things. You have to constantly be aware of your environment, be aware of what's changing around you, be aware of what you're watching on TV,
Mhm.
those type of things, so that in your time of rest, you're not being depleted, but you're actually being strengthened and rejuvenated, and renewed in spirit and physically. Um, Man, Michael Todd up, jacked me up. So he has a series called Cuffing Season. This is Pastor Michael Todd, in Tulsa. And one message is called Cuffed to Constant. When I tell y'all, and then I had the nerve to listen to it on the way to vacation. Well, I started and then listen to the rest on the road on the way back. And literally, like, he had me in the car, like, boo-hooing, crying because the Lord checked me, you know, and we all need that every once in a while. But he
Mhm.
didn't have to do it like that, y'all. Like, you have to go back, you have to go and watch this message. If you are like me and you are constantly going, and trying to do everything all the time, you have to go watch this message, Cuffed to Constant. Um, one of the main things he talks about is how we have the audacity to think that we don't need to take a day of rest when God not only took a day of rest when he created us and the world, but he also commands that we do the same. So it's like when you look at it like that, it's like, oh, like basically it's a sin for me not to rest,
Mhm.
you know? So when it comes to that balance of everything, we have to squeeze in there time to rest physically, mentally, emotionally, um, and just kind of step away from things.
Now, fellas, let me tell you that this one pertains to both sides, okay? Because we can do the same thing, and we need to make sure we're taking the rest as well. But if your wife is like that and they do not want to rest, and you constantly are telling them, go relax, go sit down, you don't have to, just go take some time, and they do not think that they have them watch the Michael Todd's sermon on it, please. Please, because when they are not resting, all you have to do is bring it up. Bring it up that it
Mm.
is a commandment. It is a commandment from God that she go and rest.
Oh.
How quickly things will get turned off and someone will go get some rest.
You know, I don't appreciate.
I'm just saying. This has been, Lord, been 10 years of the same argument. Not argument, but
No,
the
sometimes
same.
listen. So when it is an argument, let me tell you what the argument is, right? The argument is, the argument is I am so tired. Like we'll be sitting watching TV and or having a conversation or whatever at like 7:30 p.m. Okay.
Oh, man.
And I literally be nodding my head, like falling asleep. The argument is when he's like, babe, go to bed. I'm like, don't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
I'm grown. I don't gotta go to
Or
bed. I'm not tired.
she's sleep and snoring, and I wake her up and tell her, come on, let's go to bed. And she's like, I'm not tired. I'm not sleep. Like, what?
Oh
No.
goodness. Because I'm grown. You ain't gonna tell me what to do and when to go to bed.
Mm-mm-mm.
That's what we
Mm-mm.
do, ladies.
No. And
You ain't gonna tell
you
me.
know what I've been doing? Well, you can sleep right there on that couch. I go stretch out in the bed.
He used to like try over and over again until I would get so mad that I would just slam the blanket off of me and then stomp into the bed and have an attitude. I know y'all, I'm crazy.
Hmm.
But now he got to the point where he's like, I'm not fighting with you. I'm going to bed. And then I wake up like 2 o'clock in the morning,
And
wondering
now I'm snoring right in the bed.
by myself, all cold on the
Yep.
couch.
Yep.
And then after her to go up and curl up on him in the bed.
Hmm.
He's like, don't curl up on me now.
Mm-mm-mm.
Oh, what's wrong with us, ladies? What is wrong? But anyway, yeah, that's something I think we all have to keep in mind
Yeah.
is making sure that we're resting in the midst of trying to balance our lives.
Mhm.
Can I say this one more thing? Don't let, oh, thank you, Holy Spirit, because I'm speaking to myself right now. Don't let people guilt trip you into making them your number one priority. I don't know if that was the best way to say that, but let me explain. When you have to say no to someone because you just don't have the bandwidth to handle attending an event, or when you don't get to go visit that family member like you planned on because your body is shutting down because you've been doing so much and you have to reschedule. Um, let me say this, don't let people guilt trip you, and don't guilt trip yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That is something that I'm learning. I've always been a people pleaser and always trying to do everything for everybody and, trying to get everywhere all at one time. I have not mastered it yet, but I am working on being okay with not accommodating everybody and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes for family, friends, or foe. Okay. We have to make sure that in maintaining some sort of balance in our lives, that we have the ability to recognize when our bodies are telling us we have to take a break. We have the ability to recognize when there are certain environments that you shouldn't be in. And we have the ability to recognize when we just need to take a break and
Mm-hmm.
rest and be okay with the fact that you can't please everybody. Um, Man, I'm working on that. I feel like I've come a long way. And a lot of people say, "Oh, you're 40 now," because recently there's been some things where I'm like, "Nope, I don't have the capacity to handle that." That's my favorite term. Just in case you hear me say that a lot this season, I don't have the capacity to handle that. And it's not, trying to be arrogant or anything like that, but I have to say it out loud. And I even told you, right? I said, I don't want you to think that I'm, being negative or anything like that when you hear me say this all the time. But I have to say it out loud to remind myself and to speak life to it. No, like, you have to stop. You do not have the capacity to do this, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because God created us to do certain things, but He also created us to rest so that we could be replenished enough to do His work and His will in the land. So if I am burnt out, if I am torn down, if I am exhausted, and my brain capacity is very minimal, then I can't function the way He needs me to. He can't use me the way He needs me um, to be a blessing to other people or whatever the case may be if I have allowed all of the things of this world to deplete me and deplete the energy that I have, because that in turn turns to other things. So, yeah, man, that's really important. I think that's probably the most important thing
Yeah.
when it comes to creating balance, not just individually, but in our families too.
Yeah.
And knowing when to say, nope, it's family time. Shut off the tablet, shut off the TV.
Yeah.
We all gonna look at each other. Just look me in my eyes. Or go outside and ride bikes and play basketball or
Do something.
do something.
I think that's enough for this one.
I think so.
I think episode 1, we are back. Season 2.
Mm-hmm. And we got some good topics coming up for you this season.
Some great guests.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be blessings.
And some other things coming down the pike for Millennium Marriage.
Oh, yeah.
So if you have not already, go to our website. Sign up for our email list so that you can be informed about our upcoming events. We will be having some date night events coming up to encourage you all to date each other.
Oh, yeah. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram. If you go on Facebook, you will see pictures and videos from our first event.
Yes, which was
awesome.
hilarious.
It was great.
Yeah, we won't get into that right now, but yeah. So join us on this journey. We're glad that you came back for season 2. And if you are just joining us for season 2, go back and listen to season 1.
Oh, yeah.
Catch up, and then we'll see you back here next week for another episode of Millennium Marriage, the podcast.
That's right.
So until next time, continue to invest in each other for a marriage that lasts a lifetime. Later.
Peace out.
If you enjoyed our podcast, please subscribe and share. Keep up with us on social media at Millennium Marriage and visit our website at millenniummarriage.com.